I don't know if this is working. I don't know if my AirPods are working for the microphones. So if anyone's in the chat, just let me know if my microphone, if you can actually hear me. Um, if you're watching a replay of this, we uh can anyone hear me? Let me know if you can hear because I just bought a very expensive Wi-Fi mesh system and cool. All right, sound is great. Perfect. All right. So I've been wanting to do live streams for a while. I just did I've done live streams for a little bit on this channel. It's been a couple of years now. And yeah, I kind of wanted to get back into it because sometimes I don't have time to film and especially the next coming months are going to be very busy for me. So it's going to be hard to film and even when I'm filming videos it's sometimes hard to get the whole entire message of what I'm trying to say across. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A, drop questions. I'm going to try my best to answer them. I don't know how long we're going to go for. I've got date night tonight with my partner. So we're going to go do some clay making, pottery, sip and paint, well, sip and clay thing going on tonight. So I don't know what time got to start getting ready for that. But yeah, if you're watching the replay, welcome. We just bought a warehouse. I don't know if you guys can see on my Instagram yesterday that I posted. I've been wanting to tell everyone for a while. I know that we went through a phase of wanting to sell the shop, and I didn't really make a video saying that we weren't going to do that. So I guess I can talk about that today. But yeah, we did settle finally on this brand new warehouse down the road from our current warehouse, and I actually own the building. So we are going to move all of the shop to that new warehouse and we're going to do a rebuild and set it up properly because I did decide a while ago that we were going to sell the shop and that was for a few reasons. At the time, I didn't have a manager and yeah, that made my life very hard because I was managing the shop and doing everything myself. And I just decided that it was too hard and that it was time to sell it. And I had a few people come through and look at it, but I didn't. No one offered the price that I wanted, and I decided that it was a kind of like a sign from the universe, I guess you could say, that it's not time to sell it. So I kept. We hired. She offered to. She offered to do the job, and we brought her on, and she's been doing a fantastic job. And we've got some new staff members who are all doing great jobs. And yeah, the shop's running really smoothly now without me having to be there all the time, which means I can focus on filming and obviously all the products and stuff that I've been working on too. So the shop's actually become a lot easier to manage. Now, why while we were well, for me, my priority is YouTube and my priority is to make content for YouTube. And my priority is also to work on my product brand, PureFin. And while we were doing that, we realized that we'd need more space just to expand the PureFin lines. So like warehouse space to just to store stock and fulfill from. And while I was looking, I was also at the same time looking for an investment property because that's something that I've always wanted to do since I was about 18 years old, is own a property and rent it out. And I kind of just thought, well, why don't I buy somewhere for the business? And found this shop down the road in a really good spot, concrete building, which I love because it's going to last forever. We found a concrete building. It's got an upstairs and a downstairs. It is in a flood area, which is unfortunate. So we've decided to move the shop upstairs. And I'm going to do a video showing you guys the whole place and the future plans. But yeah, I've got a lot of work cut out for me for these next, definitely the next 6 months to a year. It's going to cost a lot of money that I don't have anymore because I spent it all in place. So yeah, I'm going to be really trying my best to get through this next period. I'm excited, but I'm also nervous because yeah, it's a huge job. So I can't wait to show you guys all that. But that's what's been going on. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't know if I like described that well, but it looks like we've got a ton of people in the chat. Wow, this is the most we've ever had. There's 120, 140 people here. Wow. So welcome everyone. Um, I will answer questions um, in a sec, but yeah, there's some familiar faces here. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, let me have a look. Yeah, so we're going to move to the new warehouse. We're going to keep. It's annoying because the way we've set the shop up, it's going to be very tricky to move it. So we're going to have to. The new warehouse. There's a lot of things that we need to fix inside of it. So it's a new building. It's was built um, in the 2000s, and it's concrete, so it does last a long time. Um, we're gonna have to change the flooring. We're gonna have to rip out walls and do a lot of that stuff before we can even think about building in there. And then we're gonna also, and then we're gonna build everything. So we're gonna build stands. And we're gonna have to move the tanks across. It's gonna be a huge, huge effort. There's a ton of a ton of work to do, like a lot of work to do. So I'm gonna have to beg you guys to support me here. I'm just whether you just watch the videos and leave a like, it just helps me out so much. Because yeah, this is gonna be a big, big job. But yeah, we're gonna move everything across. We'll try and move as much as we can across, but we have to rebuild a lot of stuff. But the thing that's good is because we own the building, we'll never have to move. So we're going to be able to set up a fantastic shop, much better than the one that we set up the place that we're currently renting from. And I would continue to run the current store, but the problem is that when I set that shop up, my ambitions for the business were to be a breeder. And I set the whole entire shop up for breeding fish. And as time went on, I found out how tricky that actually was. And it didn't suit all the other stuff that I was working on, like obviously making the videos and stuff. So we ended up turning the store, well, we ended up turning the warehouse that was breeding fish into a pure store. And the floor plan just does not suit a good retail fish store. So that's why we decided to move instead of renovating and fixing the shop that we're currently in a place that we rent that we could be kicked out from in a couple of years. Like our lease is up this month and we're going to ask for a couple of month extension. So instead of putting all this work into a building that we know we're going to have to move out of anyways within the next 5 years, I thought it'd be better to just to buy a building and to in a better location as well that we're never going to have to move out of. That helps me to get equity in my pocket. Helps me to build you guys the best store possible. Like this store, how it's in my mind is going to be like incredible. I've seen so many stores and I am so excited to get stuck into this. And literally, we're going to bring you guys along for everything. We're going to be showing you the whole entire process. I'm going to show you the planning, even if it doesn't get any views. I'm going to show you guys the whole plan, and yeah, it's going to be very very cool. So all right, there's some personal questions here, like asking me how much my lease is and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not going to say exactly how much, but we're going to have to be paying two rents for a little while, which is also going to make it things expensive. So, but I can say that our current lease it's a decent it's expensive, but it's not too much. But this place is an extra 50%, but we get double the floor space. So we're going to have like 130 square meters of just warehouse space downstairs. And then I think the store itself upstairs is going to be about 140 square meters, but we've also got now like a staff room. We've got office space, and yeah, just it's just a very good spot for us to grow into. So I guess that's pretty much it that I can tell you about. Like, otherwise, I'm just going to be talking, and I'd rather show you guys the warehouse myself. So what I'm going to do now is, I guess we can just show you the fish room. It's cool. I was saying it earlier. I tried to do a live stream about 3 weeks ago, and I was just doing it off the data on my phone, and it's just terrible quality. And people were saying, "Oh, it's lagging, it's lagging." So I decided to invest in a Google Mesh Wi-Fi system, and I was watching a tutorial on Google on how to set up one of these mesh systems. Basically, the way it works is you have like your main. I'm going to butcher this, but you have your main router, and then you add these like extra routers around the house, and it creates like a mesh of Wi-Fi across the whole house. So it should work better. But while I was watching the tutorial, it said do not place near fish tanks, do not place near, and then a bunch of other stuff. But the first thing on the list was fish tanks. So I was wondering whether it even worked, but it seems to be working beautifully if I can stream on here. So um, anyway, so now we can do live stream. So I plan on doing this a little bit more often, and I'll just do it on my phone like this 'cause it's easy. But I'll show you guys the room. So I did do a little bit today. I just finished up setting up this tank. So the last time you guys would have seen this tank, it was completely empty and covered in plants. So I ripped it all out yesterday, and I actually had this slate in the backyard when I started renting this place, and it turns out it's perfect for a zebra pleco tank. So this is going to be my new zebra pleco breeding tank. I have 20 babies in here, or 18 babies, I think. I did lose a few since I added them. Um, which is unfortunate. But there are 18 really solid babies in here. You can see on this box, we've got a baby zebra there, and there's one guy here who sits under the rock as well. And yeah, you can see the rainbows are loving it. The sand looks good. I really like the scape, so that's doing well. The neon tank's doing good. Peps are good. These guys are going nuts. There's he's on eggs again. I pulled out eggs last week. He's on eggs again. You can see there's babies down here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a baby there in the middle of the screen. And the Skittles shrimp in this tank are crazy. There is a dead one here. I don't know what that's from, but look at the color of this one. That one's wicked. You got blues and reds as well. So yeah, these tanks are looking good. I'm just gonna have a look at the chat too. Some people here. As I remember, I remember you. You've been in the store a couple of times. Hey Nick, what's the water situation at the new warehouse? Is rainwater collection possible? So rainwater collection is possible. The problem is I don't have anywhere outside that I can store a tank because we are in a complex of units, which was kind of annoying. I would have preferred to buy something where we freehold the land, but nonetheless, I couldn't afford that. So we had to buy something in a complex, which won't be a problem. But rainwater, we store rainwater at our current facility, but we barely ever use it. The problem with rainwater is it's way too soft for the fish, I find, and it's really susceptible to crashing. So unless you add like crushed coral to every tank or buffer it up, it's not very good. Plus, Brisbane has surprisingly really good town water for a lot of fish keeping because it's got a lot of mineral in it. So it's actually quite stable, I find. The only thing is that it's vicious for chloramines. So if you forget to treat the water, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of problems. So what we're planning on doing is similar to my first ever fish room. We're going to be setting up a big water tank inside, downstairs in the warehouse, big slimline tanks. We're going to fill those up manually with town water. Then we're going to aerate the water constantly, and we're going to treat it for chloramines and chlorine with a neutralizer like safe. And then we're going to use that water to pump into our automatic water change system. And every single tank in our shop's going to have automatic water change system. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, rainwater's good. Rainwater's great for like veggie gardens and just for showering and using in your house. So, but I don't think it's very good for fish tanks. It's good for some like Amazonian fish, but like I said, the lack of buffer in it really does, yeah, it does screw up the tank. So yeah. All right, I'll just keep doing some questions. Um, I was on the website ordering sponge filters and just got a notification for your live. Well, thank you so much for ordering. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I'm not on here to beg for orders or anything like that, but any support, like if you're going to buy filters or you're going to buy safe for your tanks or neutralizer or food or whatever, if you can support, it really does go a long way. All of the money that we're going to get goes back into the staff and for the new facility, and yeah, it's going to be very expensive. So we are going to need, well, I will need a little bit of help to try and pull through this next period because yeah, it's going to be very expensive to rebuild. So, but it's definitely the best long term decision, that's for sure. Um, yeah, let me when can we get the fish food in the US? So, at the moment, I'm currently working on getting pouches customized. So you can see, I don't want to talk too much about products, but you can see here, here's a bag of bug buffet, here's a pack of green cuisine. Now, what we do is we buy the pouches from a pouch wholesaler, and then we get a label printed and we stick the label on and then pack the food in here. Um, Now, to this obviously involves a lot of labor. What we're getting done is we're getting just an entire custom pouch printed. So I've got a brand new design and I've got to wait for that to come. But what that means is we just have to put the food in there. So that's heaps easier. We don't have to get a sticker printed or anything like that. But when will it be available in the US? Well, I had a couple of ideas. The first idea is to get a distributor, but I don't know um, how we'll go about that, like whether that's the way we'll go. The second idea is to fulfill through Amazon maybe, but I'm still not entirely sure. There's just a lot of logistics with it, and I guess, like, for us now, the priority is just moving premises because we're paying for both places while I build, so I guess we just wanna get all of our operations out of the new spot before we start thinking about how to turn on more taps. I mean, it might be worth considering a bit like in the next month or two. But until we get those custom pouches done and get our bug buffet recipes like down pat, I don't really want to sell overseas. It's just another door I got to open, and I've already got so many open. So you can, if you're overseas, buy bug buffet. You can get it shipped to your door. The only issue is that it's very, very expensive to ship because we have to use Sendle and DHL and places like that. So um, yeah, when is it gonna be available? Hopefully soon. I'd like it to be soon, but, yeah. Will you still keep running your fish room once the new place is up and running? Yes, I will. So this fish room here is in the bottom of my house, and it's finally done, and I wanted to get this done before I finished up started up on the new shop, because this is my filming studio, this is my dojo. I come down here and spend hours down here a day, just playing around with my fishies, and this is my filming room. So this room down here will not be going anywhere for at least the next hopefully 5 to 10 years. We plan on renting here for a long time, and this fish room is a perfect size to keep at home. So, okay, is the sound gone delayed? I just got a message, but if the sound's gone delayed, just let me know. But yeah, so this is my permanent fish room now. I mean, it's just looking so good. I guess you guys can see the fish, not me, but you can see, look how good it's looking. Can't wait. This is my little Amazon tank. I'm gonna be actually tearing this down, and I wanna make it like only for the bigger cichlids. So I want my Karas in here, and I also want to put just big angels in there and use it for breeding. And I'm trying to figure out. This is actually a really good time to ask. I have absolutely no clue what I want to do with this tank. What I was gonna do was I was gonna use this as my zebra pleco breeding tank. Oh, we just got a donation. Oh, cheers, mate. Here, I'll answer your question in a second. What I was going to do was set this up as my Zebra Pleco tank, but clearly I set this one up as that. I think this is a better looking tank to do the Zebs in. But I was thinking of setting this up as like an Amazon River tank, maybe with like sticks sticking up the top, like um, branches in the water. Does that make sense? Like logs like this, and then having all the fish being able to swim through it. But I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that. If you guys have any ideas, drop them in the chat and we'll start thinking about it. But while we do that, I'm going to answer this question. Hey, Nick, massive fan. Happy to moderate your chat if you need. I probably do need a moderator, but you guys can just deal with the spam. Do you have a rough date when you want your warehouse done? So I do. We look, honestly, as soon as possible. I guess we're aiming to have it up by the end of September to be done, but I know the way these projects go, and it might take a little bit longer. To be totally honest, if I'm in before January 1st next year, I'll be very, very happy. Anything before that's a massive bonus for me. So we're going to be running the shop as normal from Yeerongpilly like we normally do. So you guys will be able to go there and support the shop. And I'm going to beg you guys to please go to my shop. We're running a promotion at the moment. For every time someone visits, we're giving them a free pouch of bloodworms per group, not bloodworms, frozen food per group. So that's a good incentive for you guys to come in. Just show our post on Instagram. It's on the keepingfishsimple.shop Instagram. If you show that post and you go in tomorrow or this weekend, you will get a free pack of frozen. You don't need to buy anything. I mean, I would appreciate if you bought something, but that's just a little way to try and give back to you guys and entice you to come in. It's like, how can anyone turn down a free pouch of food? You guys all use them. So, um, but yeah, so we're going to be running the store like we normally do, um, basically right up until the end. We're going to get everything in place. We've got enough. We've got so many tanks actually at Yeerongpilly that we're only going to be able to fit in half of the tanks that are actually at Yeerongpilly in the new store, but they're going to be much better quality. So we're going to take half the tanks, I think, from Yeerongpilly, put them into the new store, and then once those tanks are in the new store, we're going to move all the fish. We're going to do a big sale at the Yeerongpilly store, get everything cleared out, and then the next week we're going to open at the new premises. And then after that, once we're open at the new premises, I'll just have to clean up the old one, cancel the lease, and then we're out and we're cleared. We're in the we're in the green, hopefully. Well, we'll be very, very deep in the red, but yeah, that's the plan. So, oh, we just had another donation. Thank you so much. You guys definitely, I mean, I appreciate it a lot. I'm planning on starting a pet store. Any advice? Well, I guess so. Um, I think you have to be clear on a kind of who your customers are, and it depends. If you're starting up a pet store, I probably can't give you advice. If you're starting up a fish store, what would my advice be? My advice would be to get your overheads as low as possible from the start. So we're going to be doing, because we own the building, we're going to be able to do full solar power. So we'll actually never need to worry about having a power outage because we're going to have solar power backed batteries. I can tell you guys at the moment we spend $1,500 a month on power at Yeerongpilly, just on power. So, and that's per month. So if we, even if it costs us like 50 grand to buy power, like a solar power battery system, it's the return on investment is going to be insane compared to what you could get like in shares or real estate or whatever. So we're going to definitely be buying solar, but I think one of my biggest things is definitely get your overheads low. So make sure you set it up with an automatic water change system so you don't have staff members running around with buckets. Um, I think if you can do solar, do it. But if you have to rent a space, try and rent somewhere with affordable rent, but get somewhere on a main road. That's the other thing I screwed up with this current store. This store's tucked away too much. Our new store's right on a main road, two main roads. There's constant cars going past. So with good signage, I mean, people are going to definitely know where we are, whether or not, if we're on YouTube or whatever. So that'd be another thing. I guess quality, good customer service always helps. Being online, I think, is very important. If you're going to start a store, you definitely need to have online because it just opens you up to so many more customers. But yeah, that's probably my advice there. Thank you. We've got heaps of people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. I think all right, I'm going to look for some suggestions for that tank. Where's the new store going to be? It's in Rockley, so it's just down the road. It's only a 5-minute extra drive. So Rockley. What about an Australian river system? That could definitely be an option. I think I might not do that just to start with because I I did a lot of natives for the last couple of years. I'm kind of bored of them. Plus, I've been keeping my rainbows actually. I've got some prey cocks up in this tank. This light is terrible. I need to bump this down. Oh my god. There we go. Leave me alone. Um, there are prey cocks in here. I'm going to give them some food to try and get them out. I've been feeding them these micro pellets, which we're experimenting with for a new food, but they seem to really like them. But they're all going to be flighty now that I've wigged them out. They're all wiggy fish. But yeah, I've been keeping my rainbows up here. and I've actually been loving it. They do love the shallow tank, and I've been having lots of flow there, and they like swim up here in the mornings, and they look so good. So I think I might skip on that idea for now. Come on, guys, there's food there. They're like a little floating micro pellet. Yeah, Australian river tank could be cool. What else is there? Um, Sorry, guys, I'm just reading questions. Good parking space is definitely important too if you're staying at the shop. That's definitely true. By the way, look how cool these tanks are. These guys always love the food. I've also been feeding them tube effects, which is a first for me because I've never really fed freeze-dried tube effects. But obviously, a lot of you guys will know last year I had a bit, or earlier this year, I had a tantrum about bloodworms, and I still agree with what I said, but I said that frozen bloodworms are bad for your fish, and I kind of screwed up that message a little bit. Frozen bloodworms are bad for some fish. Like you could definitely feed frozen bloodworms to these big fat goldfish here, and I'm sure that they'd have no problem chowing them down. But little fish seem to really struggle to swallow what's it called? The layer on the outside of the larvae. They really struggle with it. But these freeze dried tubifex, they're only freeze dried, so they technically should have the nutrients of normal tubifex. But but they're really easy to feed and they stay. You don't need to freeze them, and they're kind of satisfying the squish. But I find that all my fish really love them. See, look at these guys going nuts for it. I think one of my favorite things to do is feed fish. Like it's one of the most therapeutic things in the room. Feed these betas or bettas here, whatever you want to call them. Oh, that's a nice red one there. We do have a bunch of these in store. So if you wanted to go in this weekend and get some, there are some there. I sold the older batch. So smashing that. And this one's super fun to feed. I still haven't cleared these all out. These are the Akaras, but these are actually so big now they start biting me when I put my hand in there, so I got to get it out quick. They go nuts for it. Yeah, you reckon that's cool? We sell these on the website too, if you guys are interested. They're not branded or anything, um, but we're trying to sell them as cheap as possible, just so you guys can smash them out. I know that cost of living is expensive, and the last thing I do is spend money on fish tanks. But if you want to give your fish a treat, the tube effects never never get turned down. Look at the cubes up the back now. So, all right, I missed people have been donating, and I've got to answer questions. So, hey Nick, how you doing? Greetings from Argentina. I was wondering if you'd give me advice on hatching dwarf cichlid eggs. Thanks. I think I can. It depends on what kind of dwarf cichlid eggs you're hatching out, but I guess the first thing is you just obviously remove them, but put them into a container with air. So I just get like every time I have eggs, I get a container like this one here. This is a decent one here to use. By the way, do you like my little container rack that I've set up here? It's just a little beam that I found outside on a scrap pile, and it works out perfectly for putting my little containers. But I just grab the eggs out and I get like a little airline tube like this. I keep them going all around my room for when I want to do something like this. And I'll put the eggs in here. And an important thing to note is the temperature you want to keep the eggs at. Sometimes the room temperature is cooler than the tank. So you want to keep them warm or whatever. But I'll put them in there, float that in there, just a tiny, gentle aeration. And then they'll eventually hatch into wrigglers. And then from that stage, I'll normally add them to a breeder box. So I've been using the Lowell's Fish Lab breeder boxes. I've had a few issues with them, but they are a 3D printed product that I basically paid not much for, so I don't mind. But that's how I hatch them out. And I also add methylene blue. That's just in the number one essential. We sell that as well. I don't know where I keep it. Oh, it's down here. But this stuff's great. I just add one drop, just a little bit to the water, and that stops the fungus from growing. But it's kind of a broad question. It's hard to answer, but that's probably the best I could have done for you. And The next question is, I ordered a pair of black dragon feathers. Any advice? So that's another broad question. Well, let me just say that. Let's see if Corey's even come up for it. Can't believe how much they love it. They really, really, really love it. Um, any advice? I guess for breeding, I would first fatten them up, get them as fat as you can, and condition them for a long time, and try to breed them a couple of times. If they don't spawn the first day, as long as they don't kill each other and aren't ripping each other up, leave them have a few more goes. But betters are one of those fish that you can't constantly get it right. It's just kind of playing around and seeing. It's like I call it throwing poo at a wall and seeing what sticks. Um, yeah, so I'd follow any of the videos that I've posted. I pretty much use the same method every single time. But yeah, yeah, that's probably what I'd do. Cool. All right, we'll keep answering questions. Can I keep a pea puffer by itself in a 5 gallon, 10 gallon tank? Yep, you can. Um, hey Nick, just curious how to breed bumblebee gobies. I saw them at your shop and got two as a breeding project. I have absolutely no clue. If you figure that out, please let me know and I'll give it a try. But I don't know anyone who's bred them. I'm sure someone deep on the web's bred them before, but yeah, I've never done it, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I also wanted to take a moment. We got the question. I'll quickly answer this. I've had great success with Nanacara anomala, but I'm kind of struggling with the pistos. I think that's just bad genetics. They breed like clockwork, but eggs won't hatch. Parameters are good in brackets. Do you tumble the eggs? How strong is the flow? I would personally, with the pistos, leave the eggs in with the parents every single time. It's so much easier. Um, the parents naturally will do the job. Like just let nature do its thing. I've had instances where you get a dud male and he won't be able to fertilize the eggs. So in that case, you might need to get another male. But yeah. So I was going to say, have a look at these goldfish. I have been absolutely loving them. They're like little water puppies, and I've never bred goldfish up until a couple of weeks ago when I hand spawned a few of them. I saw them chasing each other, and the babies are here, and they grow like quick ads. Like you can see, they're already looking like their little mums and dads. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm planning on taking the what are these called? The panda oranders and hand spawning these at some point and trying to grow some of them up for fun. But yeah, yeah, they've been a lot of fun. I've also got to say, you know how for ages, if you've been watching my videos recently, you would know that I've been trying to breed my royal whiptails. I have tried to breed this fish 1,000 times, I swear. Well, not 1,000 times, but I think I'm probably at least up into 8 or 9 attempts at this point. Um, yeah, I had a big batch of them growing out in this tank that I'm about to show you, and something happened. I lost them all. I didn't lose any other fish in the tank. All of them just started to die. So I've only got one theory, and I don't know if it's true, but again, I've run into another wall with this fish. I'm going to make a video on it and just talk about the story because I can't get it. But I got them up to this size. I got them about this big, and they're in this tank, and they've all passed away. And there's some quarries in here. You can see there's actually the last one there. Got to fish this dead one out. There's a dead one there. All of the quarries in here, I reckon maybe they've released a toxin or something in the water, and it's killed them off. Or I mean, I've got no clue what happened, but that's the only thing I can think of. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointing, but that's part of it. That's part of the hobby. They're not expensive whiptails for no reason. So yeah, what are the benefits of garlic in fish food? Does it actually improve immune systems? So I don't know the scientific. proof of any of this stuff. I basically my fish food production knowledge is basically is it healthy for the fish and do the fish like it? And if the fish like it, grow well on it, and it's good, then I'm happy. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not fish of they come and go, they die. They die easy. And as long as we're feeding a good quality fish food, I'm happy. Something the fish like, the person who's feeding the fish find it easy. Most of the time, healthy fish will eat anything. So but my thoughts on garlic, I actually like it. I like the smell of it. But the problem is I've been feeding Dimax foods lately, just kind of just experimenting with other brands and seeing what other brands are doing with their foods. And I like the food. Like the fish seem to eat it. They don't really complain too much. Well, they eat it all. So the same as what they do with all my other foods, because most of my fish are really healthy. But the problem with the garlic and the Dimax is it really can reek. It can stink a lot. And when you feed a lot of it, like I do, like I feed my fish really heavily, um, it kind of just makes the water smell really bad. So I don't specifically like that element of it. But I think it does have health benefits. I don't know what they are. So that's just me being totally transparent. But yeah, um, smells good. Yeah. So I'm on a live. Sorry. No, let Sam in. Sammy, she's probably gonna want to see you. Hey, buddy, come on. Sammy's here. He was sleeping upstairs. Anyway, we can sit with Sammy for a little bit. Sammy, want to answer some questions? What do you? Oh, okay. I don't know what the heck I've just done. Okay. um, Sam, what do you think about garlic and fish food? Do you like it? Mm. Yesterday, he had a really bad day. We went to my family's farm over the weekend, and well, not my family's farm. My granddad had a farm, and he passed away last week. So in his for his, I was really close with him, so it was very sad. But to honor him, we went to the olive grove for the weekend, and Sam came. And on the trip back, we left his dog food downstairs yesterday, and I left him at home by himself. And he got into it, and there was dog food all over the floor. So he did not have a good day yesterday. Um, yeah, thanks everyone for saying sorry. I do appreciate it. He was a big inspiration for me. He was the one who taught me a lot about business, and he actually, yeah, let's say, he let me borrow his warehouse or his single car garage at one of his properties for free. So yeah, he was an absolute legend, and I was very very close with him. So that was very sad, but yeah. So Sam's gone now, but does Sam eat the fish food I drop? Yes, he does. He loves the fish food I drop. Um, I know you don't like bloodworms. What would be the next best thing to condition betters? I have three, and after I've seen your videos, I want to give it a go. Um, what's the next best thing? Frozen brine shrimp, probably. I mean, the best thing is live food. So live mosquito larvae is good. Live blackworms are great. Um, but yeah, frozen brine shrimp's good. Just any kind of meaty frozen Daphnia. I mean, they'll condition up on bug buffet. They'll condition up on the micro pellets. But live foods really gets like the extra eggs kind of into their system. So that's what I'd recommend. Are you going to post dedicated videos, Harlequin Rasbora breeding and Congo tetras? Yes, I definitely am. The Harlequin Rasboras are in here, and I put the babies in here. You can see I've got all my old Zis boxes in here. They're getting cleaned up by all the snails in here and by all of the hill stream loaches that are in here. And there's also shrimp in here. There was a bunch of brown spot algae and stuff that I want to cleaned off. So I'm going to pull these out later. You can see the adults in there, and you can see the little ones. Those are the babies. Now, the babies, I need to get a lid on this tank. The babies have been jumping terribly. I've probably lost about 10 babies just to jumping out of the top corners of the tank. So I need to get lids put on here. But I will be doing a video on how I bred these. Um, and I've also got my Congo tetras over here. We'll give these some pellets as well. because they just will not be able to resist them. By the way, we are selling this on the website. I think it might only be in domestic, but you guys can go and check. We're selling this. It's just like an experimental micro pellet. I've been loving it. It is made of fish meal, but it's a good growth formula, and the fish really enjoy it. So there you go. Look at that. But these are the Congo tetras I bred, and yes, I will be doing a video on this too. So I do have another question. It's 35 tanks set up only for hobby. That's a lot of tanks for only a hobby. Where can I order fish in bulk in Australia? Also started breeding, watching your videos, love them. Well, thanks for watching the videos. Where can you buy fish bulk in Australia? I mean, you could get maybe a wholesaler to send to buy fish from. But I guess my way has always just been collecting. Every time I see something good, I collect it and keep it with the intention of breeding it later or whatever. So where can you? I mean, that's another hard question to ask. Maybe get in touch with a wholesaler, and then might let you go through their facility and pick some stuff at wholesale prices. But unless you've got a shop, it's hard to get an account. So yeah, because I don't want to sell direct to the public because that screws up their relationships with all their stores. Why did I stop breeding / selling rainbow fish and pseudomogals? I haven't stopped breeding rainbow fish and selling pseudomogals. I do pick the eggs. We can pick some now because I've been meaning to do it. But in here, I do have a ton of babies. These are all luminatus, arus, and there are a few praecox in here. I've stopped breeding them in volume because I just don't have time to constantly be picking eggs anymore. And I just do it for fun now. So this is my pseudomogal tank. This is the only breeding tank I've got for red neon blue eyes. And when you come over to the tank, you can barely tell that they're in here because they hide. But when I go away, they come out of this rockscape that I've got and we can actually see them flaring up. But what we'll do is we'll pick out this mop here. Grab this. And we'll just check if there's any eggs in here. It normally is. So I feed them so much brine shrimp. Yeah, let me put the camera. Sorry for the shaky cam. Put the camera here for a second. I'll just give a quick squeeze. But yeah, I definitely haven't. Yeah, there's eggs here. I haven't stopped breeding them. I've just been a bit time poor. I'd love to spend all day picking eggs. I find it real fun. What we'll do is grab some water from their tank. And basically, I don't know if I can show you. I should try and show you more entertainment. You can see that little golden thing in the middle of the screen, like right where my thumb is the eggs. So I'm just going to go through and pick these out. I'm going to find a question to answer real quick. And we'll answer questions. Hey, I've been raising up my first rainbows, Calitawas, that I got from as eggs from Gary Lang. What size mop and what foods encourage breeding the best? So, well, I'm obviously going to say bug buffet. But yeah, I think like if you don't have live food, yeah, it's a bit of a weird angle. If you don't have live food, um, the next best thing is normally some frozen. But I normally don't feed my rainbows too much frozen. They seem to bloat pretty easy. But rainbows are one of the easiest things to breed. If you were able to raise them up from eggs to the size that they're breeding, you're not going to have any trouble breeding rainbow fish at all. The hardest part is raising the babies. 3 eggs. This might be a bit hard. This normally takes me about 3 minutes per mop, and back at my height, I was doing about 15. So it used to be like an hour of just picking eggs at the old shop, and it was fun, but we did not make enough money to be doing that. So now it's just a hobby. I just do it for fun because, yeah. Have I ever been successful with rummy nose tetras? No. I've never tried to breed them. I have got some growing out, and that's why I want to pull down the Amazon tank because I want to get them out and have a go at breeding them because now's the perfect time of year to do it because it's coming into winter here in Australia and the water's a little bit cooler. Um, and yeah, it's a good time to try and breed that sort of stuff. So I will be giving it a go. I've never done it before, but yeah, um, mm, there's a lot of questions, so I'm just trying my best to answer some. Do you think you could get some axolotls to breed? Yes, that's another thing I'd like to try and breed. At the new store, we are going to be selling axolotls and having like an axolotl area because I've always loved them and wanted to keep them, but we've got nowhere at our current store to do that. So we're going to be setting up proper axolotl spots, and you can bet your bottom dollar the second I've got somewhere to keep the axolotls, and especially somewhere to sell them through. Because the problem with axolotls is they need cold water. They want to be kept at about 13 to 17 degrees Celsius, and our shop's way too hot for that. And we've had them in before, but then they never do good. They grow really quick and then they just end up dying. So they do need to be kept cool, and that is a limiting factor. But the new store will have the right setups for them, and we'll be able to sell the right setups for those as well. So when I've got the space and all that, somewhere to actually sell them through and somewhere to safely keep them, I will definitely be trying to breed them because I've watched a bunch of videos and read a bunch of articles on how to do it because I was seriously contemplating doing it at one point, but I just never got around to it. So, all right. I so far have about 12 eggs, and then you'll find that if you do this every 2 days, you'll get about 12 to 15 eggs reliably. And I sell these fish quite expensive. These are about $60 a pair. So if you can raise a bunch of these up to adult size, you can make a decent amount of money. But that, keeping that in mind, the second that you start pumping out too many and you flood the market, the price will drop. That's how it works with fish breeding. You got to be kind of like first to market with something that everyone wants, that's rare, but then everyone buys it, and then you can't get rid of it. No one wants it. So, and now I've got water all over the floor, but I have got my eggs, and I am going to put them in. Where am I going to put them? I've just cleared out some fry tanks yesterday. I've got water all over the freaking floor. Yeah, I've got this manky old towel and just mop it up. I don't know if you guys even find this interesting, but I thought this would just be a fun little idea instead of I ran out of time to film today. So I thought we could just go live. But we're going to set up one of these are my hatching tanks. We're going to set up one of these as my new these eggs. So just pour the eggs in there. I'm going to pull water out somewhere. I'll grab it out of the goldfish tank. Just enough to get a thin layer of water into that the airline tube can sit in here. Yeah, perfect. So I'll just leave them like that. Sorry for the flickering. But I'm just going to leave those eggs in there with a little bit of aeration and they should be all right. You can see that these are the up and comers. These are the freshly hatched ones. I've just been feeding them live baby brine shrimp, but I'll also feed them some bug buffet just now as a little top up. So my phone is on 7%. So I'm going to go until it dies. So if it just randomly cuts out, that's what happened. I will answer questions until my phone dies. Yeah. So all I do is I crush up a pellet of bug buffet like that, and then I just dust it over the surface. And it falls through the water. And blue eyes rainbow fish really love it. You can see there's a little bit extra there that's going to fall onto the floor, but there is a mystery snail in here that'll clean that up, and it'll be no problem at all. And then just do that as many times as you can per day, and you will raise up baby fish. It will work. You can try here too. goldfish. I've still got dirty fingers, so I'm just gonna put the cloud into the water. And these is getting a little bit big, but they will eat those little particles that come through. They do like them. So, right. What's the next question? What tanks do I use? Um, I use handmade ones from Aquariums R Us, but he's out of business now. He's retired. He made too many tanks and he's decided to call it quits. So um, I don't know where I'm going to get tanks from now. But yeah. How does my overflow system water leave the room? That's a good question. We'll answer that one. So what I set up was a gutter. So you can see here, here's the gutter. By the way, I want to show off some fancy little plumbing work I did. I did this stop here because my partner tried to help by doing a water change, and I really appreciate that. But she accidentally left the system on because I used to have a timer, and you'd have to come down manually turn it off. Now we can just turn this timer on, and it will time out when the water change should turn off. But there is a gutter behind the tanks, and this gutter runs all the way along this back wall and all the way along here, and it goes outside. And then I've got a sump outside and ponds that get filled up with the water. But we're gonna, and it also goes to my veggie garden. But yeah, the ponds aren't open now, so I just send it to the veggies. But yeah, that's what I do with it. Where's the new warehouse? The new warehouse is in Rockley. Um, so it's just down the road from the current one. But yeah, thank you so much for joining the live, everyone, as well. I know I I struggle to get time to do stuff, and I know how hard it can be to make time during the day. So you guys spending any time in here, I really appreciate it because yeah, it's special to me. So thank you so much. Yeah, so a hole through the wall. So it goes just through a hole through the wall. Um, we're talking about the overflow. I got a plumber to do it all up. I could have DIY'd it myself, but it wouldn't have looked as good. So I just got the plumber to do it. And sometimes it's worth spending a little bit extra on getting a professional to do something properly, especially like drainage in a fish room is super important. You don't want it leaking out and getting all over the floor. So yeah, I thought it was worth it. What is the top three challenges in your experience in keeping fish and making it a business? Thanks. Okay, that's a great question. Um, I think the hardest thing was, I mean, there's, I don't know, a lot of things. I mean, breeding fish for money was really hard because it was just a 24/7 job, nonstop, no holidays sort of thing because fish don't take holidays. So that was hard. Um, that was a challenge. What was some other challenges? I think just setup costs. Fish rooms and fish tanks are very expensive. So just the initial outlay to get like a shop going or anything like that can also be very expensive. Um, I'm not sure what else I would say. I mean, the whole thing has definitely been a challenge. Um, I think we just kind of went, we just kept going until we got to where we are today. Um, Basically, that was it. I just kept trying things. Breeding fish didn't work. All right, we're gonna turn this into a shop. So that didn't work. And I feel like we finally kind of gotten into a bit of a rhythm where we found where we're really meant to be, like where I'm really meant to be. Um, my passions are creating videos. I love creating videos. My passions are also breeding fish and keeping fish tanks. I would do that even if I'd never had a camera. I would keep fish tanks. I've been keeping fish tanks since I was a little kid. So I think my priority was to just always um, passion first, and I wanted to do a hobby as a job. And then I kind of just tried to find a way to make money off of that. And that started as fish breeding. And then, yeah, now it's turned into an actual business and a shop and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, what are the top three challenges? I think just trying to find my niche and find where I'm meant to be in this hobby. Um, I'd say that's probably the number one. There's probably a way better answer there, but I just don't have it right now. So yeah. Mhm. What else? We've probably got I've almost 4%. So we're gonna do I'm gonna do one more question on hang up and then we'll try and we'll maybe do another live stream soon. I really appreciated everyone joining though. Um, if you can, please just keep watching the videos over the next few months. Just watching the videos helps me so much with supporting us through this next process. But if you want to support more, try a bag of food, try a bag of bug buffet, or get something. Yeah, it helps us a lot. But if you can't afford to, keep watching the videos. I really appreciate it. But yeah, we'll do one more question. Mm, there you go. Just reading questions. I want a juicy question. We only got 4%, so uh, what L number pleco would you recommend for someone who has already bred different types of bristlenose plecos? I think the best. Okay, we'll finish on this question. This is a quick one. I think the best L number pleco, if you've bred bristlenose before, would definitely be like I try the peppermints if you've never bred them before because they're kind of a step up, but they're still within the same category. But if you want to get really into L numbers like Laura Caradays, probably I'd recommend I had a lot of success with the L201 snowball plecos. They've always kind of bred consistently for me um, until I lost them during the power outage. The adult colony, I still have some babies. I can show you them really quickly before we go our separate ways, but they're down here. I put the beans in just a bit earlier, so they haven't eaten yet. They'll probably eat them tonight. Actually, maybe they won't. There's some runs in here. This is the problem with corner tanks. You just neglect them too much. But yeah, these are the babies that I did end up salvaging. So these will be the next breeding colony. But yeah, these are a really good little beginner one, I'd say. I mean, like all L numbers, they can be a little bit pricey, but they should be a good one to start on. So thank you so much for watching the live, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna do this again at some point, but leave a like on the live, helps the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, thanks so much. See you guys.